What is up, guys? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live, right here on iHeartRadio Live, and I am your host, Deanie. We have a very special guest for you guys. You definitely want to stick around for that. And as a matter of fact, text your buddies, your family members, or even share it on social media right now and let them know that we are about to dive deep into another interview. Before I bring my guest on, I do want to say that you have tapped into the frequency of the fearless. Yeah, that's right. You know, there was a time when an artist needed permission, a record label to discover them, a radio station to play them, a gatekeeper to decide whether their voice mattered. But today, the stage is everywhere. A phone can become a studio, a social media post can become a sold out show, a bedroom recording can travel across oceans before the artist ever steps into a major venue. The question is no longer can you make it? The real question is, can you build something people care about? Well, tonight's conversation explores modern artistry, independence, authenticity, and what it means to create music in an era where artists have more control and more responsibilities than ever before. You're not just here for a talk show, and this isn't just radio. This is revival for your mind, body, and spirit. This is Vigilantes Radio Live. My name is Coach Deanie, and change is possible. I hope you guys are ready. Before we bring our guest on, I do want to play a track. It's called Northern Sky by our special guest, Jake Beck. And we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
She's calling that makes me just feel so warm, and the way about the hair that's flowing on makes me feel right at home. There must be something in the way about the song she's singing that gets me to keep on moving, and the way that her hair keeps flowing on, 'cause when I'm alone, she is here with Tell me I'll be there, rain or shine. All I see is your tail lights drift away into the night and fade away from me. Was that a last goodbye? And if you want me to, I'd give it all up. The sound of your voice, I just can't get enough.
All right, all right. Welcome back again. Oh, wow. All right. So those darn Canadians are just so perfect. I mean, it's very seldomly that I hear music that hits the sweet spot right away, and this one just it's perfect. Perfect summer track to me. You know, I just want to go outside right now, touch grass, and look up at the stars. Maybe get in the drop top and just cruise the city. That's a nice cruising song too, right? With a gorgeous lady or dude if you're into those type of things. No hate this way. Anyhow, great music from Jake Beck. It was called Northern Sky. You should check it out, look it up, add it to your playlist, all those good things. So again, welcome to the show. You're listening to Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeart's Radio. What is up, Roku TV? All you watchers out there, we appreciate you as always. Our interviews are designed to go beyond the music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, spirituality, and sometimes, even past the thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these brilliant people, you know, the ones who are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's guest is Jake Beck, if you haven't guessed so far. But he is a Toronto-based singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and independent rock artist who has been redefining what success looks like in the digital age. His music has reached international audiences, earning placements on major charts and playlists, while his sold-out performances at the iconic El Macabo and growing online presence have established him as a powerful force in modern rock. You know, sometimes, guys, we get those fly-by-night acts, you know, they look good on social media. They say all the right things on social media, post all the right posts. But like I said, it's very rare that I meet someone who's just as talented as the social media presence is as powerful. With millions of views, a highly engaged audience, and a career built through authenticity and strategy, Jake represents the new generation of artists who understand both the art and the business side behind the music. My type of guy. With that, let's welcome Jake to the show. Yo, what is up, bro?
That. I appreciate the kind words, my friend. That was a killer intro. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing pretty well, man. I'm a little bit sick here, but as I was saying when we were off, I cannot miss this opportunity. So thank you for having me, man. I really look forward to diving in.
Absolutely, man. We'll have to talk about Northern Sky. That's a beautiful track.
I
It
appreciate
got me
that,
in the
man.
mood. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, I actually wrote most of my songs, pretty much everything I've released so far, and I intend to keep this running. Every single one of my songs it's a double track. So it's about romance and love, but it's also about addiction. So if you break down any of my lyrics, you'll notice that I'm talking about both of those things in literally every single line. So Northern Sky was the one track I've released so far that also has a shout out to Canada in it. So it's kind of a triple whammy, but the rest, there's always that double meaning going on.
Yeah. Have you always written your music this way with double
So it's a
meanings?
theme that I'm trying to keep up for sure. Yeah, man.
Mm.
I actually wrote that tune when I was 21. So a few years back now, but I only released it a couple years ago. I'm pretty much trying to revive everything that I wrote when I was younger and give it the respect while still working on the new stuff.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. So when you mention addiction, is it addicted to a person or a thing or kind of both?
It's a little bit of a little bit of both, right? Like these things kind of transcend for me, and I got to watch it with everything. But it's normally I try to find the line with healthy romance doubled as dark addiction. So I try to keep both of those emotions intact because I found in every part of my life the strongest emotions that I've ever had not been pure sadness or pure happiness. It's always um, it's heavily in one direction, but it always has a tint of the other, you know. So it's either despair with that hint of hope or happiness with that hint of sadness, you know, the bittersweet line. So I try to find a different balance along that spectrum, but I always try and anchor in the exact opposite of it. So I like to have the general emotion that people are feeling be positive, but when they go back and listen, hints of the opposite in it. So kind of like nostalgia when you're looking back. It's a throwback, but also like a throw into the future. Pretty much always trying to balance that opposites because life, you know, as you were talking about with spirituality in the intro, I like to hit them with that yin yang, you know, not 50% yin,
Mm,
percent yang, but 90 to 95% yin, 5 to 10% yang. So it could leave them with that general direction of a feeling, but a little bit more of a mature take on it. So that's it's a theme that's been massive in my life, whether it's been just, you know, uh, the interactions I've had with other people or just the music that I actually personally love.
yeah, yeah. Wow. So this is music from when you were 21.
Yeah,
And you could tell us like how many years that was ago, if you like. If you don't, that's
that'd
cool as
be
well.
that would have been 8 years ago now
Okay.
when
Okay.
I was writing it.
That's a good stretch, 8 years. And what I mean by
Yeah.
that is that, like every 10 years we change. Whether
Oh
that's our
yeah. Oh yeah.
personality, our minds, preferences, the world changes, technology changes in like 5 years. So 8 years is a good stretch for growth. If you were
Yeah,
writing
man.
that way back then, 8 years ago, I could imagine the things you were come up with now.
I appreciate that, man. I've actually been really heavily into I'm creating a second brand that I just launched called Beck. There's a lot of electronic elements, stuff like that as well. So I've been focusing on my production as well. So I've been kind of I've been taking the rock to another level, but I've also been really focusing on trying to create a new sound for the electronic world because a lot of people are just not into rock, and that's fine. But I also really love these old guys like Flume, Odessa. So I'm trying to just see that project as complete freedom. And I've been coming up with some really cool stuff. So I can give you a sneak peek after the show for sure.
Definitely, definitely. And when I was stalking you, I mean, researching, that's a better word. Yeah, research. Let's say research. Okay.
Let's go
Yeah.
with the research,
So,
but stalking works.
yeah. I noticed that you were crafting some hip hop and also flipped the gospel record. So you have some
That is true.
diversity going on.
That is true. I appreciate that, man. Well, I've been lucky
Yeah.
enough to have some film scoring gigs recently, and
Wow.
in those ones, I've been really able to go all out. So I've been even doing some classical stuff and sampling lots of Middle Eastern music and kind of all kinds of shit. So music is my passion, and I couldn't let that stop with just the rock stuff. But my brand, like the Jake Beck brand, kind of became really strongly associated with it. So I'm going to keep that going for a while, and then in a year, I'm going to start bridging the gap, and I'm going to start doing co-releases and kind of pushing the limits on what I think rock can and should be. But we'll ease into that a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
So 8 years ago, I'm still stuck on that. So
A couple of the
if
songs I wrote when I was 16, actually, as well.
okay, I'm glad you mentioned that. So at 16, and when you discover some of your older work, does it give you shivers? Like, hey man, I'm a slight genius. That's how I am. That's how I am when I discover like old records I
I
wrote.
appreciate that. Um, but no, actually, I think it actually comes with feelings of like I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I made such a leap in like the first year or two.
Mm,
And every 5 to 10 years, I'll make such a leap. But in that entire interim period, it like nothing compares because of that. So I kind of feel like I should actually be growing more, you know, but that's obviously an impossible precedent to keep up with because you're just starting, everything's new. Whereas that's why I've been massive into kind of pushing things recently. So especially with the electronic stuff, I mean, it's hard to compare anything because I can like make a song instead of just using a guitar for a solo. I can now, with the power of technology, play an ancient, you know, harp from Ireland, you know. So I'm going through one of those phases where I feel like I'm 16 again. But yeah, I started when I was 12, and between 12 and 14, I probably got like 75% as good at guitar as I'll ever get. So it comes with those types of feelings, like a longing for those days. But yeah, my music's definitely gotten way better, and the songwriting, I think, has been the biggest improvement, as well as my voice has come a long way. So I can do a lot more to express the stuff that was pretty much always in me. So I didn't like I didn't learn as continuously, but I would evolve every year anyway. You know, it's just some years that would be on the guitar, some years that would be in production, some years that would be holy shit, I just figured out how to flip Motown into hip hop. And then if I focus on that, then yeah, man, I love thinking about when I was 24. But if I think about just rock and stuff like that, I don't know if I'll ever make that same level leap I did when I was a preteen. So yeah, man, it's kind of set a high bar for myself, but I'm gonna keep pushing past it. Just seeing where I can push things, as opposed to like having competition and stuff like that. I don't really think about anything else in the world, unless I need a reference track for a mix or something. Like, but besides that, I'm just like, how can I push this to the next level? How can I push that to the next level? How can I express what I'm feeling even more, even if it's completely off brand? And sometimes that means gospel vocals.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I got to keep it moving.
Yeah. So
Yeah, man. I
16
appreciate that though.
again, for sure. It sounds like you're having fun. You're having fun.
That's exactly it, man. I want people to feel how I feel. That's really the point of all this. I want people to not feel how I used to feel, and I want people to feel how I'm feeling now after all the inner work and things have kind of come together for me. I want to share that with people. I want to give people the result feeling, like make them feel understood, but also that it's good. It's not like the nuances of life lead to an equal balance of, pain to happiness, as I was saying, but it's like a mature type of happiness that factors in suffering. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. You mentioned inner work. Is that more so about the craft or you as a person?
No, me as a person, honestly. Like the way I kind of see it, so I spent 98% of my time working on myself, and 2% of my time on the music. But every time I work on myself, the music benefits. So I'm going to continue that, and just continuing to master my mind, essentially. And the music seems to always follow from that. That's where I've been at.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down, connecting the dots here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
man.
said there are leaps and there's evolution definitely happening, within your inner self. So what's going on between these periods of leaps that, there's a certain style or a certain level of music or musicianship that you're displaying before that next evolution stage? What's going on in life during those points?
Like the breakthrough point, or you mean like the moment before that point?
I guess through the process of it, the beginning, the middle, and the ending. I guess it never ends though, but going
No,
through it.
definitely not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And now recently I've been at the phase where it's like embracing that it never ends.
yeah.
So celebrating when I'm feeling on top, but also knowing that a little darkness period might be around the corner, but being ready for it, as opposed to blinding myself to that and being like, oh shit, I'm the king of the world, and then like, oh no, I'm actually a failure, and then back and forth every few years. I've kind of have this groundedness about me now, which I've worked very hard for, to be neutral, not completely neutral, but more neutral, despite both of them. So I would say what happens before the period would be just stress levels that go up about something, but it's never about the thing. So for instance, when I'm recording myself on guitar, man, it's crazy. You can go back to like when I was 24, 25, and then I'd see videos of myself recording myself for social media, and then I would forget to press record on, like, let's say on Logic, right? I record with Logic, and if I forget to press record there, but I record it on my cell phone and I can't get the solid audio, I kind of just get the bedroom audio, but it was going for a higher audio thing. I would just see videos of myself being like, fuck, and like yelling, and I would see like this vein bulge out, and then I'd have to reflect, and I'd be like, yo, this is not why I'm doing this. This is not why I'm doing this at all. I'm doing this for my younger self, for other people, and for the some messages I get that remind me of my younger self, which is like, man, I was going through this really hard breakup. This song got me through it. Or, man, it's crazy that you were actually talking about X. I'm going through that right now, blah, blah, blah. One of those messages a month or two gets me through everything. So I've actually started caring a lot less about chasing accolades or anything like that. And it's more like, how can I best serve those people? So I would see that video of myself and I'd be like, shit, this feels off in me. So I would then take a break. Like, I'd still jam, I'd still write, but I would take a break from output. And in that break, I would kind of reconnect with myself, and I would also, get sober or stop doing whatever stupid shit that I'm doing that's kind of leading me to that stress. But it's always other things in life. It's never the music. I never get angry at music for me not evolving. I get angry at myself for not evolving, and the music always follows. But then when I look back, I mean, the music was fine before that too. It's more just like a feeling I get of blaming things, and I found that whenever I blame anything, I'm off path, including myself. Even blaming myself, it's like, man, I've always been doing the best I can with the information and the abilities and strength and brain that I've had at the time, so even if I go back to prime addiction days, I was doing my best. I was never just like happy that I was like a fuck up. I was always trying, and eventually one day I would have the strength, and that's out of my control as well. Like, I would work, but the fact that I had the strength one day, not a year before that, is pretty out of my control. I mean, brain chemistry is a real thing, and I feel like pretty much everyone you ever meet is doing the best with what they have,
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure, for sure.
yeah, man. Like, it gets harder to hate anyone when you realize everyone's just kind of a walking bundle of like self-doubt and criticism and like trying their best, That's kind of the philosophy I've been having. So I have a lot more love to give, a lot less hate, pretty much none, to be honest. Um, and I just keep focusing on the music, and as long as I keep doing that, I keep pushing myself and becoming very happy with the product because it kind of reflects my brain at that time. So if I'm happy with how I was at the time, then I'm happy listening to the music. But even listening back to the music I make during the shitty times, it's cathartic in its own right. But no, it existed to push me further, as opposed to just be something to process emotions. It was like a nice real time reflection tool.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I get that. When I was going through my ego death, I was like, you know what, Deanie, you're not really going through anything. This is very manageable compared to all the other things that people are walking around dealing with.
See, for
Like,
real.
like, get over it, man. Get over it. And
Yeah,
I had some real tough battles that would break a person, but you know that saying, "What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger." What you're
damn
given
straight.
is stuff that you can handle, and maybe you just need to go through it and teach the next person how to get through that. And
Damn straight, man.
yeah, I wouldn't wish it on anyone else, and I wouldn't dare to go through it again. But I also realized that some people just have it way worse.
Yeah, man. Damn straight. And here you are, you're killing it. So I'm
Appreciate
proud of you,
that.
man. I'm sure
Thank you.
that was not easy at all, but you're right, dude. No point wallowing in it.
Yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
want to for a little bit, and you may create a great song out of it. But
Yeah, man.
once that song is done, recorded, brings tears to your eyes when you hear it, and they're like, "Oh man, I really got over that. I needed to do that." So
Yeah, and yeah, man. I also just, man, every single thing that I've ever been through has led me to right here. So it's impossible to regret anything when it was important for that. And I find character development to really just be the most important thing um, you can ever do. So it's also we think those times, which is fucking an ironic reframe. But you know, when we stop seeing those past moments as terrible and start seeing them as sacred, magic happens. Magic
Magic
happens.
happens.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. So, Jake, as you reflect on who you were before the world began paying attention, who are you becoming? Who are you becoming today? I guess what I want to ask, like, which part of yourself from the beginning until now did you have to fight the hardest to preserve?
Oh, you know, I think that this isn't the hardest one, but this is the first thing that came to mind, so I'll have to share it. But there was a moment when I started, um, this was like my second wind of getting some hype. And then there was a notice when I was posting, even on Instagram stories, that I would have this thought in my head, which was, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't post that because so many people are watching. This person's watching, and I would have individual people's faces come into my head. This person from that label, this person from this industry, whatever, like bigger players. And
Mhm.
shattering that was a really important moment for me as well. And the way that I did that was just by fucking ranting, like pure thought flow, ranting shit that I thought they wouldn't like. Um, and after doing that 3 times only, I was so back. So I think that that's a good takeaway for other people is like intentionally using these things as like exposure therapy, leaning into it, pushing past it, and then everything gets a lot easier after. So that was a big moment where I started to care for the first time in my life what other people thought, and I just did not accept that in myself because my whole life that was part of my philosophy. I mean, even when I was a teenager, I just did not give a shit, and that's not because of any cockiness whatsoever. It's not because I think I'm better. It's not even accurate. I don't even think that. I just don't think other people are better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of it. That's kind of it. But beyond that, yeah, man, mostly addiction struggles earlier on, and conquering that. I like in kind of conquering myself, I've been able to do everything else with a lot more ease and grace, if you will, and kind of just attract better opportunities, find them out, and then I would have a different amount of willpower to act on those things. Or even right now, when I have like the plague, it's there's no doubt that I'm showing up. Whereas at a different time in my life, I might have reached for an excuse or something like that, and that's not how I roll anymore. So, kind of for better and for worse, you just kind of got to bring shitty feelings with you, and I think that that's been a massively important game changer for me. It's like it's not waiting till shitty feelings disappear and to act. It's bringing them with you, and then they kind of dissipate, and then you realize the monsters are never that scary, right? Most of the things that we suffer from is like the mental stories around shit. So I've worked really, really hard on that stuff, and that has made everything else click more than anything.
Yeah, man. So, Jake, 50 years from now, when someone discovers your music for the first time, what do you hope they say they learned about you as a human being, not just as an artist?
I hope they associate me with freedom and really just doing whatever the fuck that I want. Not because I want to be some badass guy at all. I've had some people message me things like, "Man, it's inspiring that you do all this stuff while not part of the matrix or whatever." Shit like that.
Mm,
That's what I want to instill in people. Just you can kind of do it your own way. And I've gotten so many advice from so many music executives that I do really respect, and they've been right about many things. And they've told me not to do all these things. They've told me not to diversify and release different types of music. They've told me all kinds of shit, and my answer was no. And whether or not it works out, I want people to know that you can just say no, no matter how much you respect certain opinions. It doesn't matter. I want people to associate me with the ability in themselves to not be molded by other people's opinions. So, how I'm going to do that will just be by having an unbelievably diverse catalog and hopefully a bunch of interviews like this where they can hear me talk hear my perspectives, hear some of my journey, and relate that to a part of themselves that hurts perhaps, but I want them to feel emboldened and empowered by that. So that would be the main takeaway. I don't know if that answer was too clear, but it's really less about the music, and I want people to reflect on themselves via me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I'm officially at this point in it for other people, that especially the ones that remind me of myself when I was struggling the most, as opposed to anything else. And it feels really good because you can almost never be let down when, like, for instance, I could have 100 people. Luckily, the ratio is not this bad, but I could have some days it feels like that. But no, I'm just playing. But I could have 100 people hate on me, and then one person send me a message being like, "Yo, I played the song all summer. It helped me get through X, Y, and Z. Blah blah blah. I'm so happy to hear this type of music. I haven't heard this in a while." Any messages like that just get me through every type of doubt that anyone could ever have with me, right? Like I have a couple songs. I have one song specifically that I need to re-release because I kind of fucked up the mix a little bit, and we won't have that, but I definitely will re-release it. And even this one of these guys that I was just talking about earlier that I respect a lot did not like the song at all. But I have two people that it's their favorite song ever. So it's like I owe it to these people to release it, you know? Like it's my absolute duty to follow that voice instead of the other voice, which is, okay, well, this might not sell, that I don't give a shit anymore, man. I'd feel bad if I didn't release it, knowing that there's two people. I'm depriving them now of something great for them. And I just can't have that.
Yeah. And besides, what do those suits know anyway?
Yeah, exactly, man. It's a completely different world that we're living in.
Oh man, you said something that stood out to me. Well, I think I read it somewhere, but you said it's not the people's job to find you valuable. It's your job to create value. Where did that mindset come from, and why do you think so many artists struggle with accepting that reality?
I think that people, this might sound harsh, but I feel like people in general have a really big issue conflating self-worth with, business worth. Hey, Diggy Soul, he knows exactly what song I'm talking about. I'm talking about back then. Yeah, I think that people often have just a kind of insane perspective on themselves, and it's because they don't appreciate the value that other people create. So it's really easy to shit on entrepreneurs and stuff like that. Pretty much anyone who has it better than you, it's really easy to blame them all for your problems. And I think that I became really honestly, like, disgusted a little bit with just how much people were blaming everyone else for their problems. It feels like a learned helplessness. And I want people to understand that you don't really even get to set your own value. Like, we have this kind of belief modernly, like everyone is a king and everyone's a queen. And it's like, yeah, unless you compare them to other queens and kings, then you're going to be kind of stuck with the reality of, okay, now we're actually realizing I just think these things. So then you're not going to learn from all these mistakes, right? Like, and I'm not saying listen to the suits. I'm saying listen to what actually matters, right? So when you get these messages from people, or when you get feedback from life, it's really important to actually have a part of you that listens and a part of you that ignores, depending on how important that one thing is to you. But you can't deny reality. And I have a big respect for reality. I found that reality is the opposite of all these mental illusions and this bullshit that makes you stress about absolutely nothing. So if you're ever doing anything, you're ever working hard on anything, and you're trying to sell something, for instance, and people aren't buying it, the entrepreneur would think, okay, how can I actually create value for these people? And if a lot more artists started to think like the entrepreneurs that they despise so much, they would actually do a lot better, and they would get their messaging across better. So instead of complaining, oh no, content sucks, it's like, okay, great feeling. Sure, that's a cool way to feel, but you need to now change your perspective and be like, okay, maybe I should change how I present this in a different medium, right? So maybe that means have a long of like a long form content for YouTube or short form. It's like, I don't know. I feel like people need to adapt better. And I wish that musicians would have a lot less of a radical political stance on lots of things. But there's lots of echo chamber stuff with music people, and they learn in music school, and it's like, oh, you should be paid always X or whatever. But then I'm thinking, okay, if Lil Wayne paid me $8 to play a guitar solo on his song, I would fucking do it. I would do it for free personally. And I think a lot of people will miss opportunities like that because they told your values X by someone with an agenda of telling you that. And it's generally not actually your best interest. When people tell you these things, you know, like your parents, they'd be like, yo, we love you, you're amazing, and here's how you should improve. These things work a lot for properly loving someone that I've learned. Enablement has been really shit for me, whether it's a girlfriend or something else. Tough love works sometimes, but it can also be shit. So kind of like, you want to balance, you know, like let's say you're a kid and you get bullied in school, then you come home and your dad's like, get over it, go back to school tomorrow or whatever. But your mom's like, no, you don't ever have to go back till you feel better. Well, the answer is somewhere in the middle, because the kid's gonna end up probably fucking traumatized either way if, you know, you kick their ass too hard or if you enable them too much. So I just don't like seeing learned helplessness in the world. And I think musicians have some of the worst perspectives on many, many things. They've got lots of great perspectives on things, but unfortunately, they're not outweighed, but it's very equal the amount of things they have terrible perspectives on. So I actually don't relate to a lot of people in music. I relate a lot more to guys creating stuff outside of music. And yeah, music can be like a high school cafeteria sometimes. So lots and lots of opinions that don't matter. And you'll miss the opinions of people that do matter and that you care about, that you're actually trying to reach, and you won't get there because you're just upset because I should be doing better. It's like, what even is should, man? Like,
Yeah.
It's not even a real thing. So reality first has been great. Talk to someone with like crippling depression, perhaps I would then remind them of their value before. Yeah, man, it's the way she goes.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it. It's the way she goes.
That's the way she goes. Jake, do you read the hate comments?
I genuinely don't read comments that often, but if I do see them, they don't really faze me. But if I did, like for instance, if I were getting 100 hate comments on something, for me it's a little bit different. I would actually be inspired. I would see that as a good thing. I'd be like, oh wow, nice. Depending on the people who are doing it, right? Like if one of my core fans is really upset by something I say in this interview, and I know that they love me and I've been there for them, I'll take that with a much greater, not 100%, but I'll care much more about that than other musicians. I love hate comments from other musicians, actually. It's actually like, it gets me going. It's probably my favorite sign that I'm leveling up is if someone, especially from your hometown, like if someone from Toronto who's a music producer hates me, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm hateable by these guys that are doing nothing. So that's kind of where I'm at. So not all hate comments weigh the same. But it turns out that the people who actually were my solid supporters don't hate when I do things like experiment. They don't hate when I do these things. So I haven't really been moved by a hate comment yet, other than a genuine happiness, right? Like I did an ad for halls because I use them when I'm in the studio, especially when I'm sick. So I'm like, fuck it, this seems aligned. And then a couple of guys from Toronto are like, you're a sellout. This is what selling out looks like. And I'm just like, oh, fuck yeah. They think I'm big enough to sell out. Let's go. Let's go. Imagine I thought that, like, I mean, if I actually was conflicted, I would do something, you know? Like, you won't see me do an ad for Suno. But if Adidas hits me up or some company like that, I'd be like, sure, man, send over some kicks. Let's do this shit. Sounds great. Yeah. You know, my music has nothing to do with these things. It has everything to do with actually getting people out of their head and having a good time and making things not so deep, especially the deepest things, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You had this partnership and a collaboration with the brand like Fender. And it shows that artists today have to think beyond screens. Me personally, or well, me professionally, I believe in storytelling, a good story, good backstory. Um, I'm into comics, and I used to be into wrestling, and that's how I view a certain sector of music. Is
True.
that you have to have a backstory, put on the costume, and never take it off. Assume the role.
True.
Uh, what made that relationship meaningful with the Fender, and what do you think brands look for when choosing artists to work with?
Yeah, I mean that's actually still in development, so we can't talk too much about that.
Okay.
Um, but for instance, some of the other brands like Long and McQuaid is the biggest music store in Canada, and when they hit me up, I loved. I was thrilled to do it. So I can speak for them. Well, I can't really speak for them, but I can speak what was attractive for them. And honestly, it's just showing that you have momentum and that it's going to continue into the future. So it's like showing up often, showing that you're not just a musician. I agree with what you were saying about wrestling and stuff like that as well. You're building a whole persona, but my philosophy is just trying to keep that as loyal to your personality as possible. However, if I met someone and they were super bland, maybe I would have different uh, a different piece of advice for them. Maybe I'd be like, all right, spice it up a little bit. But there's nothing cornier for me. Like I love UFC and MMA in general. And
Hmm.
there's a guy, Colby Covington, and he leans into the brand thing so far. And when I'm watching his face, I'm just like, you don't believe a fucking thing you're saying, my friend. And that turns me off. So it's a balance. You want to sell tickets, but you also want to keep it loyal. But maybe that doesn't go for everyone. I wouldn't take that as gospel. But for me, I've tried to I've tried to keep it as loyal to myself as I can. But the problem with that is, as we were talking about earlier, I change so rapidly every few years that I'm then like, shit, I got to break out of this one,
Mm,
and now I'm talking about spirituality and mental health and philosophy and psychology and shit and how that as pertains to music. um and then people might think of me as like the party guy. So I think I just constantly have found that as long I can like leave people guessing, so as
yeah.
as long as I'm keeping it authentic, um you can put some gas on the fire for sure, but as long as it's actually a reflection of like a part of you, then I find that way easier to maintain.
Yeah.
Especially especially the closer to who you actually are, it's like more ammo against, judgment and hate and shit like that. It's like, well, it's me. But if I was maybe doing an act that's distant from who I am and someone's like said something, I feel like there's a chance I could get it in my head because I don't have the defense of fuck it, I'm me, you know?
Absolutely, man. Uh,
Yeah,
in
bro.
that same grain, you've talked about mentoring artists. Some artists may come to you with great music, but no audience. What are some of the first things you look at?
Man, the first thing I look at is socials. Like people don't like hearing it, but I feel like the older music industry, well, when I started, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get into social media. I'm gonna become some YouTube guy, and then I'm gonna use that the credibility to shift into the real music industry. But what happened was the real music industry just shifted into social media. So I kind of had a good advantage, which was partially luck. I didn't have the foresight to see that one coming, but it worked out great in my favor. So when I'm mentoring people, I genuinely am telling them to batch test a shit ton of different types of content that are loyal to themselves to a degree, but also just take some trends, see how you can kind of make it in your own way instead of reinventing the wheel. And we get them a starting point with that. There's a lot of things that you can solve with relationships and stuff like that as well. So I teach people to genuinely be good to everyone that comes their way, right? So uh, when you help someone out and you don't actually need something in return, the most blessings I've got were from shit I've done for people and have completely forgotten about that. So
Mm,
I pretty much it's genuinely philosophy stuff that I chat with them about before we do anything. But no, I definitely have a heavy focus on getting the social media strategy down. And if someone's just starting out, then that comes with the freedom, right? You can do whatever the hell you want, and then when something sticks, it's great. But I caution against doing trends and things that have nothing to do with what you're doing. Like if you are if you're then stuck being the gimmick guy, like I have someone I'm very close with who made songs about politics for TikTok, but his actual music had nothing to do with that, and he ended up with a dead TikTok with like 800,000 followers that he can't do anything with because they'll never stream his music. So we try to do the big vision, like we zoom out, and then we break that down into the smallest chunks so that everything they do is aligned with that, but with flexibility to adapt along the way. And then there's all kinds of stuff you can do, like PR and shit like that, which really helps shape the narrative. When you have people talking about you in third person, it helps a lot more than when you're one of these guys that's like, I'm the shit. When it's like, okay, Rolling Stone or someone like that says you're the shit. It comes with a very different weight. So I've established a lot of great relationships doing things independently that I like to hook my clients up with. So I kind of get them a bit of a leg up in terms of that type of stuff, which I call optics, you know. But there's no way around the organic hustle. So I try to get people out of their heads so that they can do that, because I find that the biggest thing artists struggle with is not work ethic. It's just like mental hurdles, you know?
Yeah. I like that. Well, guys, we have more music on the way. We have I Love You More by Beck, and then we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Keep watching. I'll be here.
Awesome.
Jake will be here. Hang out.
Yes, sir.
I love you more. I love you more. You get upset when I leave you alone. The sound of broken bottles says there's no place like home. Baby, I got demons too, hate when they get to you. I love peace and quiet, and that leads me out the door. The sound of silence always makes me sure I love you more. I love you more. Bridges burned, so there's no going back. I'm tired of holding water while you're holding the match. Baby, I make no excuses, I'm a fuck up too. And so the sound of silence always makes me sure I love you more. I love you more. I love you more. I surrender control to you. The way you look at me, if I could only read your mind, still I try. Yeah. The lonely wolf howls at the moon. The sun is true. true to you.
I surrender control. All right, yeah, that's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot, baby. All right, so I have different parts of this song that I really like. First of all, the guitar was killer. That got me out of my seat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Secondly, the melody of the hook was, oh man, it was right there. Oh, I love it. And then the hook itself was great. And then the ending, oh, perfect. Tell you, man, those darn Canadians just keep doing it, just keep being all perfect. Like, I don't know how they do it. Maybe it's the air quality. Yeah, probably so. Anyhow, let's go ahead and bring Jake back. Yo, man, I think I
Yo, I
like this
appreciate it.
song a lot. I like this song a lot.
I appreciate it, man. I wrote that a little more recently. That one was 27,
Ah, yeah, that's dope.
three,
It's
4 years
really
back.
dope.
Yeah, a little more hardened by life, but keeping it sweet. You know, I appreciate that, man.
For
And
sure, for sure.
yeah, man, that's written like usual, um, about love, but also about trying to break free from addiction. You know, so it's going to be a constant theme, and I encourage anyone to check out the lyrics after and kind of connect the dots. But I'll keep that a little more on the low in general, and let people get there on their own with all the next tracks. It's a little more obvious
Man.
with Wasted Love, though, I will say.
Well, man, surrendering, to someone or something is
Yeah.
it's a deeper level of love. It's a deeper level of commitment.
Yeah, man. Surrender has been the most important thing that I've ever done in terms of feeling good, you know, and just getting out of dark places, especially as someone who probably had quite an ego when I was like a teenager. Surrendering was the last thing I could do. So even if I would I would have panic attacks and all kinds of shit when I was kind of struggling with the drugs, and surrender was my way out of it. It was just surrendering to everything, every feeling that comes in, everything, and just giving it a space to exist without judging it. And what I noticed then was everything kind of passes, the good and the bad. But if you don't hold on to things and if you don't have resistance, then it kind of deals with 95+% of the suffering with most things, really, like except maybe pain and certain physical things like that. Surrender has been absolutely everything to me. What, you know, like I could create a bunch of parallels, but honestly, just surrendering. I mean, whether it's a higher power, whether it's to the negatives and positives of another person, of yourself, and just radical acceptance has been the play. No matter what I've ever gone through, it doesn't solve everything immediately, but it solves everything eventually, and it at least gets rid of most of the suffering attached to it. I mean, for instance, like say let's say your arm hurts, right? And you just went to the gym. That same physical pain even won't bother you that much. But now let's say, for instance, you get a rare type of arm cancer and it's the same level pain. The mental disturbance and the suffering attached to that will be a million times more. So just kind of try and apply that philosophy to everything else. You don't know how things are going to go. And just kind of embracing the unknown and uncertainty and surrendering to that has been the biggest shift I've ever made in my life. So you can definitely bet on that recurring in many different ways across my music. I might not say the word surrender, I will, but even when I'm not saying it, that's the big MO, especially of the last many years. That's kind of how I freed myself from things that I was plagued by for a very long time too. Ironically, was giving up the fight. And the more of a hot-headed guy you are, you're just like, what do you mean give up the fight? Fuck no. No. But then eventually you realize you can't do that with yourself. You can't do that with certain things. So even if you don't get humbled by other people, you'll get humbled by the big man eventually. And when that happens, it's way better to just enjoy the ride instead of trying to drive the car. You know what I'm saying?
Just went through that not too long ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Jake, man, what's next for you, bro?
What's next is I'm gonna start pushing the boundaries with the rock stuff. I'm starting to release a lot of my electronic stuff. I've had some good label interest in that, but I think it's a little too early, so I've been rejecting those to kind of just keep it free for now, and then maybe once I have a lot of leverage, um, then I might consider signing something. But beyond that, I have a Grammys campaign going on for Wasted Love, which was my most recent track that I released for Jake Beck, like for the main brand. And that is starting tomorrow, or I guess in 2 weeks, but I have a call for it tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. And that's what I got going on. Besides that, I have a business that I started a while ago. I volunteered for a record label a few years ago, or many years ago, like right before COVID, and they gave me this blog list of 4,000 blogs. So I started like an automated store for it, where people could then submit. Well, I mean, they gave me the list once I left because I was supposed to email everyone manually, and I sent like 10 emails. I'm like, this is stupid. And then they're like, all right, fine, whatever, you can list. So then I pretty much set up like an automated mail out and then an automated store so that people could kind of choose if they want to submit to 2,000 blogs or 4,000 blogs. It was $49 or whatever for the 2,000 blogs, then a little more expensive for the other one. And then that started to do really well as artists were getting a bunch of features on blogs. And then as that was starting to build, I was able to fund my music stuff without signing to a company. So I was like, okay, I owe it to myself to keep this going. So then I just kind of started working hard and get better and better outlets. So now I just help other artists get featured, pretty massive outlets, and enjoy their success as well as my own, and it kind of compounds. And that's pretty much it. I've just been kind of trying to give back to independent people as much as I possibly can and give them access to all the contacts I've built. I've been lucky enough to partner up. I had a manager who was a Harvard Law guy, and he connected me with his mentor. He's one of the biggest O1 visa lawyers in America. And I reached out to him, and then we kind of set up something where I refer them a bunch of clients and stuff like that, and I'll do the press for people. And I've just been kind of helping a lot of people get all these opportunities that were traditionally gate kept. I mean, kind of like what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of give it the love back, and it seems to continuously come back to me in ways that I don't expect, but I'm very grateful for. And it's almost like the less I expect things to come back, and the more I just give. I feel like the universe has rewarded me in spades for that. So I'm just going to keep this philosophy up. I die and help as many people as I can, and see what's in store for myself. But even if I were to plateau right now and help 30 other people, I mean, fuck it, man. That's amazing. I'll figure out my life,
Absolutely,
So
man.
that's where I've been at. Just helping artists and some entrepreneurs and actors, because sometimes those same resources help them a lot. Like these big like press companies. Like I would then end up meeting people for like Flaunt or OK Magazine and stuff that applies more to actors. So I help those guys as well. And the girl I'm dating is an actress, so I kind of put a little more love into those connections as well for her. So I opened it up to actors as well. But yeah, man, that's really what I've been up to. And beyond that, during the week, I pretty much spend 13 to 15-hour days just staring at my computer producing, really, and then staying up too late, and then waking up, and then feeling like shit, and then doing it all again, because what else would I be doing, right? It's like, it's the best. Making music is really the best thing, and helping people is the second best thing. So I've been very fortunate to be able to craft myself a little lane here where I get to do both of those things. It's a very rewarding time in my life. I feel like I'm reaping the rewards of a lot of seeds that I planted a while ago. And yeah, it's right when you take your eye off them too, and you just focus on the craft and focus on the giving, that these things tend to come back. So yeah, it's like detaching from outcomes for me has been massively central to getting these outcomes. But the irony is then when these outcomes come, it's like makes a lot of sense. And then it doesn't necessarily feel the exact same as when I was banking all my happiness on certain things, but it feels like a much more grounded um, satisfaction as opposed to excitement. It's more like fulfillment, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
It's a superior emotion for me. I mean, excitement is like it's not sustainable, but fulfillment can be your state 99% of the time.
Absolutely, man. Where can our listeners connect with you on the internet and check out more music?
Oh man, Jake Beck Music on Instagram, on any of the streaming platforms, it'll be just Jake Beck. If you ever wanted to tap into any of these contacts that I've made, you can hit up Jake Beck Marketing on Instagram, and you'll see a bunch of cool stuff over there. We've actually helped some people get into Netflix and some things like that as well. So it applies to it's pretty much the entire creative industry. And yeah, we don't gatekeep that shit around here. So it's been a very very good ride, and getting lots of great feedback, lots of happiness going around for other people as well, and that translates to the fulfillment for me I was just talking about. So it feels like an exponentially growing cycle, and I'm really glad for that. But yeah, Jake Beck Music or Jake Beck Marketing on Instagram, and then just Jake Beck in any of the streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music.
All right, cool. And listeners, just in case our watchers, you need those links, I will place them into the show notes and then into the description of this episode. So all you guys have to do is just click the links. I believe they're already in the show description because we thought far ahead. So go ahead and click them now. I mean, it's the end of the interview, so you can venture off if you want to, keep it in the background. But yeah, those links are there. Make sure you connect with Jake. Make sure you stream the music, add it to your playlist, share it with your buddies, party to it, cry to it, sing a lullaby to it, sing to your girl, ride down the road to it, chill with the cat down the street to it. It don't matter.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Just vibe to it. All right, guys, tonight's conversation did remind us that talent may open the door, but it's really the intention that keeps it open. The artists who survive aren't always the ones with the biggest budgets or the strongest connections. They are the ones who are willing to adapt, to learn, to change, to create something that truly connects with people. The connect is the magic word, and Jacob Beck represents the new era where musicians are not just performers, they are builders, entrepreneurs, they're storytellers, they're figuring it out, and they're kind of uh MacGyvering the whole process.
Facts.
Sometimes we just take aim as long as they're shooting, right? If you don't shoot, you're not going to make anything. So be sure to
See the
connect with
clip.
yeah, be sure to connect with Jake, listen to his music, follow his journey as he continues to push independent rock forward and all the things that he's experimenting with. We just can't say rock anymore. There's so much more. Check out the YouTube. I was blown away, and you will be too. Until next time, don't lose sight. My name is Coach Dini, and you've been watching and listening to Vigilantes Radio Live, the frequency of the fearless. Take care, Jake, man. It was a pleasure.
Much love. Thank you, my friend. It was a great chat.
Absolutely, man.
Cheers.
Take care, bro. Cheers.